Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the brand new Tier 8 Premium Pan-Asian Cruiser, the Dalian. So, without further ado, let's look at our commander. We're running Chen Xiaoquan, we're running Francesco Mimbelli and Albert Gleaves. We are running Beyond Range, Blind Justice, Back in Stock, Smoke on the Water, and Fully Packed as our skills. For our loadout, we're running Aiming Systems Mod 1, Propulsion Mod 2, Concealment System Mod, and of course Main Battery Mod 3 to get a little bit faster reload for these guns. For the loadout, you do get a defensive AA, though in my opinion so far, every time I've used it, I've been pretty let down by the AA of this cruiser, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just gotten unlucky and other people have been getting the planes and I've just been doing the damage, but yeah, not that impressed. Smoke screens are pretty nice if you get a chance to use them. Unfortunately, most of the time, you're not going to get any spotting from any teammates, so smoke screens are kind of useless most of the time. I wish I was lying, but I'm not. If I don't have to spot all my own stuff, like we're just going to be sitting out here doing nothing, right? Anyway, 35,000 hit points, 19% torque production, 130mm 60 caliber BL 109As. You get 10 of those, reaching out to 16.4 kilometers with this build. 4.2 second reload, 180 degree turn time, 10.6 seconds. Maximum HE shell damage 2,000 with a 10% chance to set fires. AP shell maximum damage 2,600. Torpedoes, 533mm 1 ends. You get 12 of them, so 2 triple launchers either side of the ship. They reload in 84.6 seconds. Maximum damage 15,100, and they do 60 knots, so not the fastest. But with this build, we do have them out to 11.3. If you don't extend the range with Gleaves, then you get it at 10 kilometers. AA defense, we've got 25mm 110. I'm assuming it's 25mm 110 PM 4M 120s, whatever the f that means. But you get 40 of those doing 84 damage per second, reaching out to 3 kilometers. 57mm ZIF 31Bs, you get 8 of those doing 71 damage per second, reaching out to 4 kilometers. 130mm 60 caliber BL 109A dual purpose main guns, you get 10 of those doing 140 damage per second, reaching out to 5.2 kilometers. Maneuverability, 33.4 knots, so not the fastest thing in the world, especially considering the size of this thing. I've seen destroyers out here that are about the same size of this cruiser, and yet somehow this thing just doesn't have it, right? 660 meter turning circle, though, is pretty decent, and 6.9 second rudder shift, also pretty decent. So it is decently agile and can turn pretty quick when you need it to. Concealment is fantastic, 8.8 kilometers with this build. 5.5 kilometer detectability by air. 2 is always guaranteed, and then the smoke firing penalty on this thing is absurd. I ain't gonna lie. 4.4 kilometer smoke firing penalty on a cruiser is stupid. Like, that is literally like destroyer smoke firing penalty. It's absurd. Again, not going to have the best stats in these ships. I've been playing the Hindenburg in this thing all morning trying to get a game, and I just have not had any support whatsoever. It's not the ship's fault. These are fun ships to play, but like, there's only so much you can do if you get 0 support. Like, if you're in this thing and you've got to spot your own targets, you're pretty much SOL, because if you take any hits whatsoever, you're just having a bad day. Same thing goes for the Hindenburg. As much as I want to showcase the Hindenburg, dude, every single game I've played tonight has just been tragedy. Just the worst teams you've ever seen in your life, and then it just can't get, like I'm doing 100k average damage in these ships, minimum, right? Like, that's usually what I'm minimizing, like 100k damage, but my teams are just absolute, just tragedy. Absolute tragedy. As far as armor goes, I mean, this thing just doesn't have any armor. It's got an armor belt, but that's a lie, because I'm pretty sure that's just your raised citadel, and as you can see, it clearly is. So don't assume that you can bounce any rounds in this thing. It does have the raised citadel, just like most of the Pan-Asian cruisers, so like I said, if you've got to spot your own targets and take shots, then you're in trouble. The concealment will allow you to get into range and do some silly things, but again, like, when it comes down to being able to do damage, if you can get a teammate that is actually willing to actually do their job and spot and do things, maybe you have a chance to put up some ridiculous numbers in these things. I don't think these should be built specifically for the torpedoes. I think putting more into the guns is probably a better option. This build that I've been using has been pretty good so far. It gives you a little bit extra range on the torps, so you can do a little bit of area denial, and I've gotten some good hits with those. But the guns are where it's at, man. These Pan-Asian cruisers have some of the nastiest little tiny pea shooters you ever seen. They are just fire spamming nonsense. And then if you get a broadside, like loading AP with this fast a fire rate is pretty funny. Reloader. Above average main battery reload speed. Hidden. Good concealment means ship can get closer to enemies before being detected. And paper thin. Higher caliber shells overpin the armor without arming, causing minimal damage. Dalian, a modernized version of the Mark VI cruiser project with gun mounts from the 1940s replaced with more contemporary ones. The main battery is represented by BL-109 instead of Mark 18s, and the AA mount are represented by ZIF-31 and 4M-120 mounts instead of 66K and 70K respectively. Don't know what any of that means. The project reflects a potential upgrade of the cruiser, which might have been carried out in the 1950s. So she was designed but never actually finished. But anyway, other than that, it's a good-looking cruiser, honestly. And I like these Pan-Asian cruisers. Like I said, the problem with me is I just don't get any support. Like, as much as I want to be able to use the smoke screens and HE spam and burn everything to the ground and use the torpedoes, like, I just need one person to be useful, and it just isn't happening most of the time. You'll see what I'm talking about in the game we're about to showcase. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for the late upload today, guys. I've been trying to get you guys some fun games and showcase the ships, but good God, man, it has been awful this morning. Long queue times because apparently nobody's playing today, and then on top of that, like, just potatoes when I do get into matches. It's been rough. But with that being said, let's get... Alrighty, so we're going to be on Mountain Range, and we're in the Dalian, or Dalian. I'm not sure which way it's pronounced, but it doesn't really matter. All you need to know is this thing is actually fantastic. I'm not going to lie. If you are a cruiser player, if you like light cruisers specifically, you're going to enjoy this thing. This thing is a absolute fire hose, and not it's the opposite of a fire hose. Instead of putting fires out, it just sets fires all the time. But it does have some pretty big weaknesses, mainly the fact that you need somebody on your team to be useful, and we all know that this is just not the case 90% of the time. And this will be a perfect showcase. Now, I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to the Destroyer player that maybe he got disconnected. But if not, if he actually just like quit out the game, then he needs to like suffer consequences, man. And it's not just him. It's my entire freaking team, man. Like, you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're going to push over to the right side. We're going to try to get into the alpha cap. We're going to try to use some sort of cover to get some shots on things. Now, one thing you got to remember about these guns is they just are floaty, right? The good thing is you can use island cover pretty well in this. So you can get into some good positions with the concealment and then use some islands to spam HE on people. But again, that all assumes that you have somebody on your team that is capable of actually spotting something or being useful. And, I mean, it's just not the case most of the time. So as we push forward, I want you to see what I'm going to run into. Now, my destroyer goes into Bravo immediately, right? And you can see he's clearly playing the game. He's going to go in, and the sad part is he's going to end up on top of the leaderboard somehow. And the man literally goes into the cap, basically does nothing, and then goes AFK and the rest is history. But he ends up top of the team, despite all of my best efforts to give our team a chance. We're going to go forward. We got the Iowa spotted right off the bat. Again, Destroyer is spotting him, so that's good. Destroyer decides to turn away, go behind the island, so we are going to lose our spot, unfortunately. And again, this is going to be the theme, right? That's what I'm talking about. Like, I need spotting. That is the one thing that I can't afford not to have in this ship. Like, I can't spot with my face, alright? I don't have the armor, I don't have the hit points to be able to spot with my face. So, you can see he does back up, he gets the Iowa spotted again, but unfortunately now we're running into a situation where the Iowa is getting out of our range. Fortunately, Vladdy's starting to back into our range, but unfortunately he goes dark too. So we do have the defensive AA running, and this is what I'm talking about with these guys. There's a Lafudra right next to me who's going to get bombed over and over again from this D7P that's over here. And I've got my defensive AA running, and we are getting some planes shot down, but it should be just shredding planes, right? That's the whole purpose of defensive AA. But it just doesn't, right? It just doesn't. Now, I know these are like full squadron drops, so maybe that had something to do with it. I haven't had a chance to test this thing against like an actual carrier yet. But overall, the AA has been pretty to me so far in the few times that I've gotten to use it. But as you can see, the battleships are running away, so it's time for us to start using our concealment, push forward. We're going to try to keep our Le Foudre here in our AA bubble so that we can provide some of that AA support so that the D7's planes aren't just getting to do whatever they want, right? So as we push forward, D7 is behind the island. We don't have a shot here, but we are going to start to look at potentially get into a position to get closer to the battleships and be able to use our HE spam on them. Also, we're going to get into the cap and make sure that we can get the cap, because with the Le Foudre being the only thing in the cap, every time it gets hit, it gets reset. We need to get these points as soon as possible. And yeah, this is going to be a match where every point counts, right? So we want to get up in here, get this cap as best we can, and finish the deal. But as we push into the cap, we're getting into range of being able to shoot the battleships. The battleships sitting behind the island, we should have a good chance to shoot them. Now, they've already lost their destroyer. I don't know where their destroyer was. I'm assuming he was middle. Our destroyer ended up killing their destroyer, I'm assuming. But here we get spotted. And I'm not going to lie, like, I didn't know initially why I got spotted, but I had a freaking feeling that it was the D7P doubling back. So we got to go ahead and smoke up here because we don't want to take a big hit from the battleships. You can see we slow down and we dodge all those. We're going to try to get some more fires here. So far, we've had pretty terrible luck with the RNG. We got like a double fire on the Kansas immediately, and then we haven't been able to set a fire since. So we're going to just try to zero back in on these guys, do what we got to do. And meanwhile, we're keeping our guys inside the AA bubble. Our Weimar goes full dum-dum mode, goes full out in front of two battleships, goes broadside, and he's about to get yeeted right out the gate. But as we push into the smoke, this is the one time we get a chance to use the smoke screen and actually farm, because every other time from here, I'm pretty sure I'm like the only one spotting. D7P is keeping his distance. There goes the Weimar, getting death struck by the Kansas. Again, why you push out in the open water against two battleships that overmatch you is beyond me, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I can't make it up. Like, I can't play the ship for you. You got to learn to do it yourself. But as we're sitting here, like, we don't have the spotting anymore, and you can see I'm starting to like ask for intelligence. I've got a destroyer sitting there in the middle. Like, I just need him to come out and start actually spotting for me so that I can farm these battleships so that we can get rid of them. And the longer these battleships get to sit here, the worse it is for me, because I eventually am going to have to withdraw, right? I end up having to brawl battleships in this thing, which is not what you want to do. Now, the Vladdy starts coming forward. We're going to, again, go ahead and start shooting at him. Our smoke screen is about to run out, so we're going to have to be cognizant of that. We're going to have to hold our fire for a little bit. And again, this is one of those times where if I'd have just had some spotting, got a couple more fires maybe, these guys would be a little bit less health. Maybe things go a different way. We do get a fire on the Vladdy there, and as we push forward, our Le Foudre decides to take up a position behind the island. I don't hate that, but at the same time, like, at least if you're going to put yourself behind an island, put yourself in a position where you can be useful from behind the island, right? And that's kind of where he ends up failing, is he ends up just parking behind an island where he can't shoot at anything. Now, here, we've got the Vladdy and the Kansas pushing in. I'm about 3 seconds away from getting another smoke screen, but here's the problem. I'm the one spotting. So as soon as I smoke up, everything disappears. And this is the problem with these ships. You need support. If you don't get it, you're just screwed. You can't do anything if you don't have teammates to help you, right? That has always been my issue with smoke screens. Every single time I try to use anything with a smoke screen, whether it's Anchorage, whether it's any of the Pan-Asian cruisers, whether it be the Minos or anything that has a smoke screen, I'm basically screwed, because I will never, ever get anybody to actually spot for me. And that's not me bitching, like, that's just me being honest. Like, this is just every single time I try to use something with a smoke screen, this is what I get. I get zero support, zero spotting, or anything. Now, we have a huge lead in terms of points right now, okay? So, at this point, our team should be in the driver's seat. Our team should be winning this match, right? What comes next is what can only be described as an unfortunate series of events. As our Le Foudre, you can see I'm trying to look at him, but he's reversing. Like, initially he was sitting behind an island where he couldn't really be useful, but he couldn't, like, be detrimental either, right? Now, we've got our smoke screen protecting him. I got the Kansas spotted at the moment. I don't know if he fired his guns at somebody or what, but we've got him spotted, so we're going to go ahead and take that shot, right? We want to try to burn this man down as best we can. We got multiple fires going on him. We know the Vladdy's pushing up as well. And so we're just trying to put ourselves in a position to where we can get rid of these battleships. The battleships are honestly the biggest threat to me at this point. There's a couple of cruisers out there, but unfortunately, like, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. It's the battleships that are going to be the death of me real soon. So we're going to go ahead and load up some armor piercing while we've got a broadside. Again, I'm the one spotting, so I don't get to spot him. The smoke screen runs out. We get out of there before we take too much damage, and we get to use the island to protect ourselves from being spotted even further. So at this point, we're kind of trapped here. If we back up, we've got battleships in range to spot us. If we go forward, we've got an island that we can't really like do anything with. So we're kind of in a situation where we're going to have to brawl here. It's not an ideal scenario for this thing. You can see D7 was there, so we used the island to break contact there. And we're looking at the Vladivostok and the Kansas coming around this right side. And we don't have any spotting. You can see the Lefudra is trying to shoot HE, but he's, again, right out in the open, and a position where he can be yeeted. Now here we've got the Kansas full broadside. We're going to aim high here. We want to hit as high up as possible to get these pins, because, again, this is the highest DPM I can get out of this thing. The fires are great, but I can potentially kill this guy here. But, unfortunately, I end up looking away from the Kansas to try to get some torps out for this Vladivostok. And Kansas goes dark. He ends up surviving, and now we've got to turn our attention to this Vladdy, who's fully committed to just sitting here broadside. He goes ahead and stops. Our Lefudra is broadside to him as well, so unfortunately a Lefudra is not long for this world. Plus you got multiple cruisers behind us that are going to be able to shoot him as well. And so we've got to try to push up, use the smoke screen, get in here, and we're going to try to pin the bow side plating of his ship. And you can see that I'm doing a lot of damage here, right? Like, there's a reason that I say don't sleep on AP, guys. It's so useful. Now you can see we hit him with the torpedo, and then we're going to go ahead and finish him off with the AP. Now, unfortunately, what I've run into now is I've got a choice to make. I've got a choice. I need to disengage here, but I've got to do it smart. I know the Kansas is coming. I don't have torps on that side. We've got a destroyer in the middle who I didn't know it was AFK at this point. I just assumed he was being a goober and just not doing anything. We got a cruiser back there. We got a battleship doing God knows what in the back. I don't know what he's doing. But we're winning. So I'm going to try to disengage here. While the Kansas is behind the island, this is my chance. And as I pull out in front of these cruisers, unfortunately they're too close. They get me spotted. And now I've got no choice but to fight. And now as I'm fighting these guys, unfortunately the Kansas did push around the corner. And now he's got a beautiful look at my broadside. And there goes all my hit points. And yeah. Unfortunate as it may be, and the D7 ends up dropping his bombs on me too. I couldn't dodge that, unfortunately. We are going to throw some torps out there just in case, and we didn't get the torps off the other side, unfortunately. But 130,000 damage, ending up brawling in a freaking cruiser that should not be brawling. And if we just had a little bit of spotting, I think this match goes a different way. Now, the good news is we still have the points lead, right? Despite this guy being AFK for the entire match, we still have a points lead. All these guys have to do is not do something stupid and die. We know the AFK guy is going to die because the cruisers are right there. They're going to go into the cap. So this guy's going to die. Unfortunately, our cruiser ends up just sailing straight in and dying too. And that just leaves the Missouri. And all this Missouri has to do, I just want to reiterate, and I was telling him in chat exactly this. All you have to do is run the f*** away. You've done a great job of it up to this point, of just running away and not being all that useful. Just run away. If you ever find yourself in this situation where you have a 700-point lead and you are the last person alive on your team, just run away. Preserve the W. Do not decide to YOLO into the middle of the enemy team and give them an easy win. And that's exactly what this Missouri is about to do. You can see he was clearly kiting to the border. He was doing the right thing. And then for whatever reason, he's just like, I think I can handle this. Let me just throw myself into the fight and die. Now, I think what he was thinking here was that he's going to get all of his guns ready to shoot these cruisers as the destroyer, who's AFK, is getting them spotted, right? So he's got a chance to take a shot at the cruiser. Unfortunately, he still has a Republic right in front of him. And is that HE? Like, am I wrong thinking he's shooting HE at a cruiser right now? And that dispersion was tragic. But it doesn't matter, because now he's committed to turning back in towards the enemy, which is the exact opposite thing he should be doing. And this is just GG. 30,000 hit points he has. He's managed to survive by running away the entire game, only to decide to YOLO in when it matters most and throw all of his hit points away. You can see Republic gets a good hit there, down to 26,000 hit points. He's now putting himself in a situation where the cruisers can all focus him with the Republic. You know that the Kansas is still out there somewhere as well, but Kansas is so slow, he's probably not going to be an issue. However, the two cruisers will be. You got the cruiser in the middle. He's going to end up shooting that instead of shooting the Republic right in front of his face. I guess he's trying to get the reset on the cap. Maybe we'll give him benefit of the doubt. But again, this is a situation where you can't do this. You just can't. You had all the advantage in the world, and you threw it away by just turning in and trying to fight when you should have just turned away and run away, which he was already doing. I don't understand why people do this, but there is no such thing as winning harder, guys. All right? You either win or you lose. And playing like this loses you magic. It just does. And I mean, look at this. This is the worst dispersion and grouping I've ever seen out of Missouri. I have no idea what this man's build is, but dear God. Either he's the most unlucky person on the planet, or this man is running like a Willis Lee build or something on this thing. I don't know. But either way, I mean, you guys already know. The cruiser comes around the back of him. He's got his broadside. The D7P is going to be able to drop him. Like, it's just GG, no read. All he needed to do was survive 2 minutes, and he threw it away. 700-point lead. Didn't have to put himself in any harm's way at all, and he'd have been fine. But manages to throw it. And like I said, the destroyer that was AFK for the entire match gets top of the leaderboard. Doesn't get 0 XP, so that means that that guy was actually in the game. Right? If he got 0 XP, that means he disconnected or he just went AFK. But the fact that he actually got XP for that match means that destroyer was actually still playing. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Have you guys also just had the most frustrating day ever? Because I'm telling you, it's been a rough one for me. But if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.